And we're live. How's it going, everybody? Mr. Holton here. Hope you guys are doing good. It's Friday. Welcome to the stream. What's up? We have got some things to talk about today. A couple of, things I've covered this week. Mainly Crimson Desert. Maybe there's something else going on here. As always, this is going to be a relatively quick stream. I just wanted to check in with you guys and get it going with these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday streams. So in case, you need a refresher on how we're going to do these, it's just plain old like we did last year. So Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, So start of the week, middle check-in, and end of the week streams. So yeah, what are you guys up to? How we doing? How are we doing? I hope I'm live, by the way, so I didn't mess that up like I did last week. There we go. TikTok. Thanks for the like, man. Appreciate it. Welcome. Vulcan, what up? Buongiorno, Punished Kittler. Did you change your username again? Hey, Constable Birch. Welcome from the land down under. Reldy, how's it going? How's it going? Well, for me, it's going pretty okay. I've been sitting here a part of the day researching Crimson Deserts because I covered that yesterday. And gotta say, I'm getting more and more interested in that game. I'm definitely getting more interested. Megan Fox wants me. Welcome. Welcome. Also, I got to try out, what did we play this week? It was Wednesday, we tried out Solasta 2. Gotta say, I'm glad I tried out Solasta 2. It's definitely a game on my wish list now. Can't wait for the early access to start. Because the more I've learned about Solasta 2, the more I feel secure in saying that it's like it's similar to Baldur's Gate 3, definitely. It has the same vibe. It's the same style of game. Not just being a CRPG, but being like a cinematic CRPG with choices and stuff, the good stuff, the good old stuff that we like here. So man, Vulcan says, I was just watching Prehistoric Emergence, the analog horror video. What is that? Never heard of it. Have you been in touch with James Olin? I have not. I've never spoken to him, unfortunately. I would have loved to do an interview with him, just to sit down, and see how he came up with Exodus, really. But the best I can do is to talk to Drew Karpyshyn, Chad Robertson, and Chris King, which I've already done. But it would have been nice, I would love to sit down with them again and talk to them because they're really chill guys. So yeah, the only one I think I want to talk to as well from the Exodus team is Jesse Sky. I haven't gotten to talk to him yet. He's also a BioWare vet. So, honestly, I would like to meet the whole team. I would have loved to go over to their studio and just walk around and get to know people and see the project, see them working on Exodus. That would be amazing. Hey, if anybody from that team is watching, hey, you know who to call. I have arrived. Nice, Scornlock. Welcome. You sold me on that new CRPG. On Solasta 2, honestly, I gotta thank you guys for talking me into it. I don't know who it was who brought it up first time. I'm not sure maybe if that was Elias who mentioned it. Because I think he and a few others of you got me into trying out Baldur's Gate 3. So I'm eternally grateful to you guys because that definitely helped the channel out. And you found me one of the better games that I'd played. And then when it came out, it's like one of the greatest games ever made at this point. So it's like, yeah, that was a good gamble. That was a good gamble. That's the single player Black Desert. Crimson Desert, yes. And it's looking better and better, I gotta say. I wasn't super excited for it at first, but man, it's looking pretty swell. So jealous you got to talk to Drew Karpyshyn. Yeah, that was quite the thing. Honestly, though, he's pretty regular. Like not regular, boring regular. He's just chill, you know. But I definitely got a little nervous. But the crazy thing is just how he is so passionate when he starts yapping. And that's, you know, that's the amazing thing. You know, he starts unpacking all these things about like how he writes, or not how he writes, but the stories and the world that he loves writing. And it's like, oh, I want to pick his brain, you know, because wow, you know, the ideas he has. You'll take credit for that, Punished Kittler. Who knows? Maybe you were there too. I don't remember. How did you come up with the name Mr. Holton? It's the most dumb, stupid, regular ass. There's nothing really to it. It was just my old boss who, whenever we had a meeting, like a personal meeting, he had this poker face. He probably still does. Shout out to Emmanuel. Or Emmanuel. He had this poker face, right? Where he's like, whenever we were just supposed to sit down and have this personal meeting, he always went, well, Mr. Hultén. That's how he, you know, usually started our meetings. And then it just got stuck. And I was like, that kind of sounds good. So I just went with it. It's not like a copy of Mr. Beast or anything. It's literally from my old boss. So, yeah. If I recall, then Mass Effect news, see what I did there was the job hiring. Yes, that was the news for Mass Effect, which is pretty big. It is a pretty big step forward, but it's also like one of those bittersweet moments where like this is good, but it's also, oh man, it's been too long. Happy Friday, Quintus. What's up? BioWare made Baldur's Gate 1. They didn't own the IP Wizards of the Coast do. They do now, yes. Or did they already own the IP? Yeah, they did, right? Of course they did. Probably Elias, since he's up into the D&D news. Yes, probably. Also Vadim, I remember, maybe. I like that you guys recognize each other now. That's super cool. I think that's fun. It's like we have a comment section here where people are like, I'm getting to know these guys. Yeah, he's just a chill guy. Yeah, Drew Karpyshyn, just the chillest. I would love to just sit down and just, you know, have a beer with him. Just yap away. Have you seen the new trailer for Crimson Desert? Yes, I actually covered it yesterday. We can watch it now if you want to, so you guys can learn some more about the game. I'm not necessarily trying to sell it to you, but I am getting sold on it, so I kind of just want to share my enthusiasm for it. It's not like, you know, there are still things that I'm a little on the fence about, but I need to play the game first before I can, of course, you know, say whether this or this. What a lore, exactly. Whoa, amazing lore. My boss called me Mr. Holton, and that was that. Mr. Hand from Fast Times. Whoa, what? What's going on here, Megan Fox? Cartomante di Spigoli. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Shout out to Il Cartomante di Spigoli on Twitch for the 2 months. Thank you so much. Yes, please do. Okay, yeah, I was a BG3 fanatic in early access. Yeah, Vadim, I think, I think you were one of the people who recommended it. Thank you too to Vadim Orlov in chat. My man. Let's see here if we can switch over to this window. To the wall. Did Crimson Desert is a pass for me. I'm only waiting for RE9 right now. Well, that's fair. I'm also looking forward to RE9. I would love to stream that. You guys remember when I streamed the RE2 remake? Also the RE3 remake. Yeah, I should start doing that again. My only concern with Crimson Desert is disc size and performance. That's a worry of mine too, particularly the performance, because I mean, I hope it runs well on my PC. I also have some notes here from an interview that what's his name, Will something, who's the director for Crimson Desert, and I wrote, like, he had an interview with Dustin, who's another YouTuber, or Destin. And yeah, so I have a bunch of notes that I want to bring up later in case you guys want to know some more stuff that I found out during that video. Just realized RE9 is a month away. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's close. Has BioWare found Jesus for their new position yet? No, but they probably will need someone of equal stature to really get the game, you know, made. Let's see. Pop over here. Okay, you guys ready? Let's see if I can... I don't want to make myself too small or too big here with the window, but let's check this out again. Game is mature, by the way, so not a baby game. Very good. Ali the One had an awful day at work. This will turn the day around. I'm sorry to hear that, Ali. Well, welcome over here. Should see if Chris Roberts want to jump on some Mass Effect. Chris Roberts? Then we're probably looking at a 15-year timetable for the next Mass Effect game.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the first Crimson Desert Features overview video. In this series, we'll be sharing information about several gameplay features and providing a look into what you can expect when you step into the world of Crimson Desert.
Hell yeah.
Today, we'll cover our main protagonist Cliff and his story, as well as the open world where your journey will take place.
Look at this guy. Look at the face. Look at the face card. What a Chad. What a huge Chad. Yeah, this the environments look pretty good.
This is the continent of Pywell, a seamless open world filled with natural beauty. Here you'll find both vast wilderness stretching as far as the eye can see, and bustling cities inhabited by residents from all walks of life.
Just to give you guys a reminder, this is not an RPG, but from what we know, it will be having like RPG-light mechanics. You know, various builds and things like that. It doesn't use like a level up system, so you're not leveling up by grinding mobs. But it is, it's an interesting mix because it has these elements that makes it feel like an RPG. Like you can decide whether to go with various factions and things like that, and the world state will change depending on what faction you choose. So it's like it's a semi-RPG in a way. They don't want to call it an RPG, but like looking at the freedom of choice and the constantly evolving world, depending on like, you know, how you want to handle certain situations. I would say it's an RPG light. Like it's not like in Baldur's Gate 3 and Mass Effect and these games where, you know, huge things change. But yeah, a pseudo, yeah, a little bit like God of War, games like that. Yeah, sure. So there are elements of it.
As you
get some
explore,
choices.
you may also come across ancient ruins and more just waiting to be discovered. But for all its beauty, danger lurks in all corners. Rival factions clash in deadly conflicts.
Also, I will go through some notes of the things I've learned. See these particle effects? That's one thing that I was a little worried about with this game. Apparently, you can turn these off. You can just go into the menu and turn it off because they know people have been, you know, a little bit on the fence about the constant particle effects. This is literally just a setting in the menu. You can turn that off both on console and on PC. So hey, that's good stuff. So it's not like Witcher 3? Probably not in that way, but in terms of maybe world state and things like that, I think it's probably similar. I think it's like a mix between Witcher 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and just, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2. Like it has this mix of being huge and sprawling and a lot of activities, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of encounters and a lot of side quests and factions and things like that. So it's not a barren, empty wasteland as some people may have thought.
Hostile forces roam the lands. And high above, in the realm known as the Abyss, a growing mystical imbalance threatens to push the world toward chaos. This is where you step in.
Here, take these wings. It's time to return.
Now, here's the big thing, because this is the one thing that I had been like, because you see, like previously, and they've talked about this in the interview with between Destin and Will, is that he admitted that they haven't really given people enough to care about the world. Like they've shown gameplay clips and things like that where they show things that you can do, but like what is the point, right? Because you need to have some form of connection to the world to really have that much fun. You have to have some care about what happens, right? And I think I'm starting to get the picture now about like what is going on with the world. What's the point of this? What the hell is up with the gigantic mech you can control? What's up with the weird technology we see? It's like a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, but there is a point to that they do explain. And I'm starting to see it more and more. So I'm thankful to, like, I'm starting to see, like, oh, okay, so that makes sense, right? Yeah.
You will play as Cliff, a formidable warrior of the Greymanes, a faction hailing from the region of Peloon. Renowned for their commitment to peace, the Greymanes have long fought for their homeland's unity and protected the innocent. To Cliff, his fellow Greymanes...
I gotta say, though, whenever they talk about the Greymanes, like this faction that you start out with, this family of adventurers, they sound almost too noble, because you're thinking, oh, but they look like raiders. Are they really that nice? It's like, that's a little too, it's a little bit too goofy for me in a way. It's like, really? They're like protectors of the innocent. Is that what they are? I mean, it's fine, but it's like, I'd expected that they were like this raider clan, and he goes from being like a tough leader to becoming somebody that becomes more of a hero. So it's like, okay.
Greymanes are family in all but name, and he
Yeah,
has fought with them
Skyrim.
side by side, determined to preserve unity in their lands.
Rest well.
But we first join Cliff in the days after that peace is shattered.
Medieval Justice League, yeah.
Gian has fallen. And with the great leader's death, our land, Peloon, once unified, has been plunged into chaos.
Pause here. I'm sorry, I gotta pause all the time, because this is one thing that I noticed, is that I didn't really get the hang of what is going on here. So apparently their leader gets killed during this fight between the Greymanes and another faction. And that's what starts off this entire thing, right? They ambush the Greymanes, kill their leader, who is also one of their great friend, I guess. So it's like super sad and super tragic, and that's kind of how the game starts.
And now, a bloody battle unfolds between the Greymanes, who fight to uphold his will, and the Black Bear forces that seek to set it aflame.
Yeah, we're back in Skyrim, yeah.
Your journey begins with reuniting the surviving Greymanes to rebuild the faction and reclaim your homeland.
Black Bear bastards swore up and down you were dead. Ross!
The lip sync isn't really that, there wasn't like a really good lip sync there. I don't know if you guys noticed with that guy. There are some things like that I've noticed that keeps me a little bit on the fence, because that has a tendency to also break immersion, especially when it's a game that is supposed to be like this European, almost mixed medieval magic world where everybody looks like, European sort of. And then you have lip syncing problems where they're essentially like really talking Korean, but it's like, it doesn't sync up. So that can kind of take you out. I wonder if that was just like a thing they had like overlaid here. And the voice acting is kind of mid. Yeah, it's a little bit mid so far. They could have probably picked some better clips here. Cliff sounds pretty all right, but it's like, yeah, I hope they'll iron that out. I really hope so too. Yeah.
But as you venture farther, the clearer it will become that the fate of more than just the Greymanes is in your hands. Forces of greed and malice wreak havoc across the continent, while a far greater threat emerges. The gazes of dark forces are fixed on the Abyss, a mysterious realm that holds power beyond imagination. And in doing so, drives the balance of this unknown world and the continent below ever deeper into chaos.
Also, is it just me, or did anybody else react to the fact that everybody's like doing spin kicks, including Cliff? It's, you know, it's one of those, oh, everybody knows martial arts. And, you know, again, it's a game, but it kind of makes you go, huh, I thought he would be, you know, fighting more like, I don't know, Kratos, like God of War or something. But, you know, I'll take it, you know, martial arts Vikings.
Fragments of the abyss are falling to the lands below and lie scattered across Pylo. Defeating those that seek to use these remnants and restoring the abyss's broken balance will be an important part of your journey.
The abyss holds what the world itself will contain. Which is why they plot to open the gate.
What's behind it?
Pure power. Raw and untamed.
The moment it is claimed by a single hand, ruin is sure to follow.
If we fail to do so, countless lives will be lost. We can't do this alone. Naira, gather all of the Greymaids.
Consider it done.
Pick focus! They're all fucking dead!
Noise. I like the focus on the, you know, the blood spatter. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's just, you know, I like how it looks, generally speaking. And we can play as our companions. I wish Emmy did allow us to play as Garrus, Liara, or any of the other companions. The original pitch of the game and demo did include this feature. Yeah, that is something as well. Like, of course, I agree. I wish we could have played as like Liara, Garrus, and Rex, and so on in the Mass Effect games. But hey, it's squad based, so hey, that's fine. But yeah, in this game you can actually play as several characters. So Cliff's companions there as well. I was actually blown away by that. I was like, oh, okay, well now I'm really interested. What did I miss? Well, we're just checking out the trailer or the showcase that they released yesterday. Grass Collision, I saw Grass Collision, so there should be a lot of settings we can tweak to get good performance. From PC, yes, that seems to be the case. There'll be a lot of settings you can mess around with. For console, it's of course going to be streamlined. That looked like Cyberpunk 2077 cyberspace for a second. A little bit, yeah. Yeah. There are some moments where you go like, wait, is that high tech? Essentially it is, I think. The voice acting definitely has room for improvement. Well, if the gameplay is great, I can overlook it. Yeah, as long as the moment-to-moment gameplay is great, and that there is some form of connection with the world where you actually care somewhat about what happens. Like, as long as you're invested in what you're doing, then I'll be fine with it, you know. But yeah, like they definitely have some. I mean, look at Stellar Blade, for example, right? I love that game simply for its exploration, its atmosphere, you know, the music and the gameplay and exploring the world. They actually managed to pull me in just through the atmosphere in Stellar Blade. Meanwhile, the dialogue and the story wasn't exactly masterclass. And some of the, you know, translation was just, what? You know? But I still loved Stellar Blade because of everything else. And I think it could be a similar situation here where it's like they pull you in with the world and the atmosphere and they make you care, not specifically because of the main story, but because of everything built around the main story. And the assets, yes, but that's a bonus. That's just a bonus for Stellar Blade, if we're talking about Stellar Blade there. Is this game $70? It should be 30. I mean, I think everything should be $30. That would be amazing, but, you know, it is what it is. Two very big atmospheres in Stellar Blade. Exactly. No, I have not had a look at Knight's Path yet. Well, I think I saw some trailer of it the other day. I think it was like a week ago or something. I don't remember.
The story of Crimson Desert centers on Cliff,
This way.
How's the situation?
The
but
situation.
as his tale unfolds, 2 new playable characters will come to join your journey.
You can
As
play
these
as girl. You can play as girl. You can explore the world and hopefully customize her as well, like you apparently can do with Cliff. Not customize, but change outfits and things like that. That's customizing, right? So maybe not like change their faces and things like that, but you can find them cool equipment and equip them with other weapons and so on, etc. Hopefully because that's the thing I'm wondering about the companions here. Will you be able to swap outfits and things like that for them? Because apparently you can explore the world freely as these. So yeah. Girl Gooner Squad attention peaked. I know, yeah. I was checking out the reactions yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Now people are really peaked.
Characters become available, you will be able to freely explore Pywell and undertake many quests outside the main story with them.
Exactly. You can mine. Wow.
Each character has their own combat style, as well as unique skills and weapons,
She looks
allowing
fun.
you to experience the world and its battles in different ways.
So does this guy. Gotta love his big hand cannon.
Pywell is made up of 5 regions, each holding stories to be told and discoveries waiting to be found.
Dispatch got censored before releasing on Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, I know. I heard about that, but it's like, of course. I mean, Dispatch, really cool game. But yeah, I can see why Nintendo would do that. Not that I agree with it, but it's like, it's Nintendo we're talking about here. They gotta censor things because Switch is a baby's console. What we see here are a bunch of countries. So if you're like wondering what's with the I noticed my camera's in the way here. There are a lot of names popping up here. So this is Delicia. That's literally, this is not a city. It's an entire country. So you have 5 regions you'll be able to explore and discover. Again, the game is bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2. So it's huge. Yeah, 5 regions. Oh man, it's like that's a lot of stuff to do and find, I gotta say. Jesus. Oh my god.
The main questline follows Cliff's journey through the central story, but questing in Pywell goes far beyond.
I noticed this thing though, because if you have played Black Desert Online, you'll probably, of course, recognize some of these designs, of course. But this guy literally looks like they ported over a BDO model, like a Black Desert Online model. I just think he's so ugly. I mean, just in the lighting, textures, everything, it just looks. I don't know, some parts of this trailer looks incredible. Other parts, like this part, makes me go, huh? And then, I from this interview between Destin and Will that I watched, they are running a completely new engine. Or, well, not completely new, but it is new. So they're running their own engine on this. It's not Unreal. It's not the Black Desert Online engine. And so they've reconstructed, or they've built the game ground up with an entirely new engine, which is impressive as hell. But it's still like, some parts definitely look a little, you know. There's no self shadows or ambient occlusion on his face for some reason. Yes, that's kind of what I'm pointing at here. I think it's maybe a performance saving thing. Why that happens in certain areas, because the game is so huge, like it's getting rendered in real time and you have a fully open world at all times. So I'm thinking it's probably that they can't crank it out all the time. So that's probably the reason. Like, I'm not going to get super stuck, annoyed, and stop playing the game whenever I get to this guy. It's just going to be one of those, that's kind of an eyesore, but it's like, whatever. If the game is fun and good, generally speaking, I won't really care too much. But again, it's like some of these things stick out and you notice it more and more, that there are small patterns where it's like, okay, this doesn't look as good. This doesn't look as good. So hopefully it's not too much of that where it like interrupts your immersion, I guess. Zach, welcome. It uses an upgraded version of the BDO engine, just like EA with Frostbite. Wasn't it a completely new engine? Or, well, an upgrade is fine as well. I mean, sure. They totally used BDO resources. Yeah, I'm thinking they probably like imported this model from BDO. Quite a load on CPU and GPU. Let's hope the game is optimized properly. They did talk about the how much they've been optimizing it. And yeah, it's a lot. They're working really hard at making sure it runs as smooth as possible. Also, everything here is on native. So they're not apparently using like DLSS. So they've even recorded it at 4K 60 native. So it's like, damn, okay, the game can actually push that on its own. That's pretty impressive.
Following a single path. The continent is full of other tales, interesting encounters, and hidden challenges that all shape your adventure. And you're free to take them on in any order you choose.
I'm really looking forward to the puzzles here, because some of them seem pretty cool when you see them in this footage. So I'm big on puzzles. Like, I need to have complicated puzzles, preferably many steps of a puzzle to get, that's why I love like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and games like that, because things or games where you're allowed to maybe, not just have these more complicated puzzles where you need to use your brain a lot, but puzzles that lets you think outside the box. And apparently they have done that, so we can probably expect things like that as well, where you can do a little bit of your own style of things. Not gonna lie, this game is very, very ambitious. I like this very much. It is, but that is also the point. That is also why they haven't used Unreal Engine, because they said that's not possible with the game we're trying to make here. So that's why they did it in-house with an, as you mentioned, upgraded engine. So it is very ambitious, but I think it's, it's possible that this could be a big one. This could be a big one. Honestly, DLSS on quality is not better than native, because TAA and other AA methods are mostly shite. Probably. I'd never really use it, though, because I don't really have to. The tree draw distance is huge, but they'd be low detail LODs, and there's terrain shading further out. That should be easily optimized. Maybe. I have a certain amount of things that I know. After that, it's like, oh, okay, that's magic talk to me. DLNA for the win, probably. Still, I don't need to use any form of things like that for my PC, thankfully.
Pywell's quests revolve around the factions, houses, and organizations of Pywell. Some of these quests are grand, with large-scale objectives like reclaiming fortresses and taking on formidable foes.
Do you know how to drive a wagon?
Here we see Cliff using a different outfit, so I'm looking forward to that. Finding a bunch of different things so you can customize them a little bit. That's one of my, main interests in games like these, where you have a big open world and you're allowed to, explore it. Not just find cool encounters, but like cool things to wear. Because that is that's an RP ingredient to me as well. If this game will work well on Xbox Series S, I will be impressed. Oof. Well, that's the big question. But again, it seems fairly optimized from what I've read. No offense to Unreal 5, but proprietary engines tend to look better to me. They generally do. There are a few games far in between that look really good with Unreal Engine 5, but like it's not all of them do look, you know, amazing or brilliant. Some of them do, but yeah.
Would you take the reins and get me to the trading post?
While others are quieter, requiring you to help residents with everyday tasks.
I like this. It's just, you know, riding along, chilling with the driver, just protecting him, like a Red Dead Redemption mission. Obviously, like this would remind you of Red Dead Redemption. I just, you know, it seems like they've taken a lot of inspiration from RDR and as well as the Zelda games. I just, you know, with this philosophy of encounters and side content and this immersive world where things just happen and you go off the beaten path all the time. So it makes me instantly think that, yeah, they've definitely drawn so much from RDR2. Essentially, they just wanted to mix those two together. So the modern Zelda games with RDR, it's like, yeah, that's actually, yeah, you know, I give it give it to me. That's how my brain has started to think about this game. Zelda, Skyrim, RDR, Witcher, such a mix of all games. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm starting to see it. But I still need that connection, I guess, with the world.
From the outset, some factions will be friendly and may give you missions.
The Bleed Bandits are raising an army of their own. And worse still, they've stolen the family spear manual. My son Graham went to reclaim it, but he's gone silent. With the rest of my men serving the Duke, I find myself in need of your aid.
Others, however, are hostile forces who are residing in or occupying the area. Roothold, originally under the jurisdiction of House Celeste, is currently blockaded, under siege by the invading forces of Gwen Kraber.
Here we go back to some, you know, classic outpost clearing, which is, you know, it's, well, you got to have some stuff like things like this in most open world games. What worries me mostly is if most of these regular mobs, if they just start falling over, you know, way too easily, then, well, we're probably going to have a problem because I still want relatively challenging enemies. So it's not just, you know, the bosses that are powerful, but trash mobs can kill you as well, so to speak. And now I'm guessing that Cliff here is at some midway point where he has powerful armor, because that's something I learned, or powerful gear, like a powerful sword, right? That's something I learned from that interview as well, is that, you know, gear is really the thing that, you know, obviously makes you much more powerful, so you can clear out bosses much easier. And there's gonna apparently be a lot of bosses that are pretty challenging. And if you're a really good player, you can beat them pretty easily. But if you, or you can beat them, was the phrasing, I think. But the armor and gear that you find can help you get past the boss pretty easily whenever you're at that point. So over-gearing is essentially a thing you can do, you know, if you're struggling with the boss. So I like that.
The area will be liberated once Gwen Kraber and Kraber's soldiers are defeated.
For example, that mob right there, he used blocking moves and things like that against Cliff, so that's cool. You know, feels like, you know, there's going to be some enemies at least that put up a real resistance. So I like that. Keeps you on your toes. Outpost clearing reminds me of Far Cry. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games have outposts that you need to clear out. I just hope that they're not the samey outpost clearing, so you don't just beat the same faction soldiers over and over, and you have like copy pastes of bosses. I hope they are like unique bosses and unique encounters and keeps and things that are like different. So as long as they do that, I'm okay with it.
Roothold is now back under the control of its rightful faction, House Celeste. Enemy forces have withdrawn, and the region will now be safe to travel. In other liberated locations, the homes of rightful residents may be restored. Rewards for faction quests will be helpful in your character progression, from meeting new merchants to receiving equipment for your journey and gaining access to resources like lumber, stone, and other materials you'll need to rebuild the Greymane's home.
Very nice. Essentially, you will be needing to do a lot of these side activities and quests and, outpost clear outs and, gather resources, because that is a point in your main quest that you want to rebuild this camp, which is essentially the Greymane camp. Again, it reminds me of RDR2, helping put resources in order or put together resources to rebuild the Greymane, sort of like you rebuild the family in RDR2. I like that. It gives you a reason to explore the world and gather resources and grow stronger and things like that. There's a point to it. Hell yeah, side quests, yeah. The wind is blowing fast. Please tell me the wind speed is not tied to FPS. I don't think it will be. Arthur, we need more money. Yeah.
Money.
I'm exploring, or I'm exploring. I'm expecting some form of, what's it called again? some archetypical character that will ask you for money, some asshole who betrays you at some point.
In Pywell, exploration is more than travel. It's discovery.
Yeah, listen.
Whether it's finding undiscovered points of interest.
Do we not have a mount of our own? We will. So here's the crazy thing. There are horses, of course, that you can ride. Then there are the dragon and the mech that are endgame mounts. But in between that, they said that they have a ton of mounts of various types. So you have horses, you have bears, you have raptors, so dinosaurs, and there's so many others they haven't even talked about, like various mounts. So it's like, oh, wow, okay. I wonder what that, dinosaurs, okay, cool. Pretty badass. So yeah, there's tons of mounts. We've only seen, I think the bear and the horse so far. Bruh, this game. Yeah, I know. Bruh. But I don't know if it's if you can tame a T-Rex, but definitely raptors.
Hidden treasures. Or simply a vantage point to take in the view. There is much that will draw your curiosity to wander.
Very nice. Again, that is something that I also saw at the stream, is that he said that is the point of the game. The devs really just essentially want to waterboard you with things to do off the beaten path. They want to distract you constantly, so while you're in the middle of doing a quest, suddenly something else pops up, or you see something interesting, you go over there, and then you get distracted by something else, and you go over there, and you go it's like a loop of getting distracted and seeing shit and getting lost. That is the point of the game, is that it's supposed to make you curious, constantly making you curious and just wanting to explore the world. And I love that. That's the type of game, that really, I just love that kind of stuff where there's just constant things that interest you, and you just can't stop. So suddenly you have 10 hours or 15 hours of an entire day, I guess, or whatever, of an entire 24 hours where you've just been, sidetracked all the time. Game is a fever dream, yeah. It's like a Witcher 3, right? It's the same thing there. You get constantly distracted, and I just love it. You never get anything done. You just... you're supposed to find Ciri. Oh, completely forgot about her. If you can see it, you can tame it. I guess that's kind of what they're going for. You know, any big monster. What about riding a giant spider or toad? That would not surprise me. This game feels like the creative director is indeed very creative. Very creative. Absurdly creative. Or he just said, okay, let's throw everything in the box and just, you know, shake it and see what comes out. Mechs, yeah, mechas, yes. This game is something else, and I don't mean it in a good, neither bad way. It's just something else. I can see why you would say that, Hangat. It is definitely unique in the amount. I don't think I've ever seen a game with this many things to do. Maybe except for like Red Dead Redemption 2, or like GTA 5, but it's like the amount rivals. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but the amount of things you can do in this game rivals the content we see in Baldur's Gate 3. What I mean by that is Baldur's Gate 3, it doesn't have a huge, massive open world, but what it does have is so many specific things that can happen depending on what you do, and so it's worth several playthroughs because you can see so many things happen that you didn't see before. This, like in terms of content, I would say this seems to rival that, right? At least. So, you know, if they can pull this off, this could be as successful a launch as something like that, but for open world games. Let's see here. Simple lazy gaming. The problem with this game is over-promising. Imagine having all of this and at the end it just feels meh or shallow. I admire ambition, but we need to set limits and have control over content. Yeah, so I get that. That's the thing. I'm also kind of on the fence about that. You know, will this feel bloated? Will this feel like there's a point to this? Will it feel cohesive? Cohesion is always a huge thing in a world like this, in a game like this. And that's why I keep talking about this sort of emotional connection to the world. Because, for example, in Red Dead Redemption 2, right? You have not only Arthur that you care about, but it's his adopted family too, the gang, right? You want to help them. You want to get them a better future. So you have this connection where everything you do, like gathering, hunting, fishing, hunting bandits or robbing, like all of it is for the gang because they're your family. And for Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, you have this emotional connection to Zelda. You want to save her, and you want to get stronger so you can save her from Ganon. And that is the point to why Link is all doing all this crazy stuff, right? He's getting stronger to save the princess. And like a lot of these things makes it feel like there's a point to it. There's a point to all of this. You're getting stronger, or you're getting money, or you're, you know, things like that. So I really hope there is some feeling of that here too, where you have some emotional connection to be like, yeah, there's a point to this. You know, I want to be invested in this world, or I'm feeling invested in it because of the characters. And that is what worries me, is because they haven't necessarily been great at building characters and stories from Pearl Abyss. So that is the thing that is kind of worrying me is, will I care about any of this? Because if I don't care, I'm going to lose interest in the things that I do, right? So what motivates me? Hope everything is good. It's pretty good, Arthur. Thank you for being here. I wonder if Pearl Abyss would ever release a toolkit for modders. I hope so, because this game could be, oh, you know, with mods, wow. Crimson Desert is the game? Yes, this is the game. This is Crimson Desert, the game. Or you just asked, oh, what game is this? Yes, Crimson Desert.
With sights, secrets, and surprises along the way catching your attention, and no strict path, you can pretty much go anywhere that captures your interest.
Good evening, Stefan.
A trusty steed provides reliable travel, but Cliff himself can climb and even glide across distances.
That looked pretty smooth, though. You know, traversing by using some form of wind power to gliding into grappling, hooking yourself to places. That looks like it could just be fun and just sheer mechanic-wise. What the hell is that walk? I mean, yeah, but he's supposed to be this gruff, badass dude. So, I mean, he walks like a gruff, badass, edgy dude. Arvos, welcome, man. And is this Crimson Desert? Yes.
Further into your journey, you'll also gain access to a missile-firing mech and a dragon that will allow you to soar high above the world. On your journey, you will meet a...
They also have aerial combat with the dragon. In case you guys haven't seen that clip, it's in one of the other showcases. He's literally battling something in the air with the dragon. And it's like, oh, they have that too. It's ace combat as well. The glide thingy reminds me of Just Cause. It does. Mech was underwhelming. We'll have to see. Maybe it's awesome. You thought it was going to be this big, giant, massive super mech?
wide variety of the continent's inhabitants as part of everyday life in Pywell. Amongst them, hostile factions and enemies each present their own threats, from well-trained soldiers and sorcerers to ferocious beasts and machines that will test your combat skill and adaptability. And for those seeking a different kind of challenge, Pywell holds many mysteries. From ancient mechanisms hidden in forgotten ruins to enigmatic puzzles, each rewarding keen observation and problem solving.
One thing I do like, though, that I noticed the small sounds here from his sword whenever he is like using his sword. I don't know. I'm just impressed by the small details, like the sound design there. You know, the swings and shoos. You know, I don't know. It's just a thing. It seems, I don't know. It just seems well done in terms of, you know, sword sound effects. I know that sounds like a super stupid thing to like, you know, oh, that's cool. But it's really one of those things, you know, where you're like, oh, if that sounds like you'd imagine it would, or like really fantasy-like, then that's everything, right? That brings you in. It's like, oh yeah, I love when he like unsheaths the sword and stuff like that. It just sounds cool.
Now,
yes, the small details.
Let's go over just some of the things you can discover out in the world. The Abyss is a mysterious realm brimming with secrets and untold power. Its influence stretches far beyond its own borders, spilling into the lands of Pywell. Fragments have fallen to the world below and lie scattered across the continent. And
great footsteps and gear armor, cloth movements, sound cell exploration for me too. Yeah, if they like sound design is so. I mentioned this the other day. It's probably one of the most important aspects with gaming, because imagine if you didn't have the sound effects. Like, it can really transform an experience from like a semi-okay experience to something that is almost like transcendental, or whatever you say, because it's like, you know, if it's really well-made audio, it can really immerse you in such a way that no other graphic can. That's why it's like, you know, most of my favorite games all have great audio design to really bring you in. So, I mean, if they, you know, it seems like they're pulling it off here, especially with the sword sounds, because that's like, oh yeah, that's like a He-Man sound, right? It's like a schwang. I don't know. It's just sounds super silly, but it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I like it.
discovering these remnants will be an important part of your journey.
Puzzles.
You'll come across artifacts, powerful items necessary to unlock and upgrade your skills. Artifacts can be earned through quests and combat, while others lie in more hidden corners of the world.
Right, so what he's looking for here are like these artifacts from the Abyss, which is, interestingly enough, up in the sky. So these sky cities and sky islands, it's called the Abyss. Apparently, you can correct me there if I'm wrong. I think that's essentially what it is, or is it the dimension that is inside? That's confusing, but at any rate, that's where these things come from. They drop down from the sky, and so the plot of the game is essentially you are trying to find these artifacts, and these artifacts are also like picked up by various factions and leaders, and so they become more powerful by using these artifacts. So that's essentially how the entire land is like embroiled in chaos. That's the point here. Indeed, sound is important. Imagine Mass Effect, but the guns literally go pew pew. That wouldn't fly the same way. No, like a lot of Mass Effects, like gun sounds and the biotic effects, they're iconic. Aside from the music and the soundtrack, everything sells a vibe that makes you feel immersed. That is, it's the whole package, but really sound design is such a huge important thing. Pieces of Eden is what they're called. Oh, okay. Okay.
For those willing to stray from the beaten path. Traces of the Abyss you discover will open up fast travel locations, making it easier.
The Horn of the Reapers? Exactly, man. The brom. That is iconic.
To revisit and explore the areas of Pywell you've discovered. In time, your search will inevitably take you to the Abyss itself. Venturing into its mysterious realms will put your wits to the test as you uncover its secrets and restore the Abyss's broken balance.
I'm very curious about this place because I didn't finish Black Desert Online's like main story or the complete. I don't know how far it is really, how far that stretches. So maybe I'm like out of context when it comes to the information here, but I'm like really curious about what all of this is really.
Across Pywell lie valuable equipment and items, some tucked away in hidden corners, others guarded fiercely within enemy camps, forts, and strongholds. Many of the items you uncover may offer powerful and helpful advantages in combat and exploration.
Nice.
Even the smaller items you collect along the way can prove unexpectedly useful, benefiting those who search every path and face every challenge. The world of Pywell is rich with knowledge waiting to be uncovered.
Look at those goofy goobers right there. Look at those troll guys or whatever they are. I'm not sure what they are. Are they orcs? God, they look so goofy. It's the same races as in, Black Desert as well. It's just, they look so dumb. But I like it, it brings some color to the world.
Is rich with knowledge waiting to be uncovered, from knowledge about its inhabitants and wildlife to skills, items, and more. This information can be acquired in many ways, by interacting with characters and objects, exploring new areas, and even observing from afar.
So he learns how to fish from this guy just by watching him, which makes me wonder how many professions or things you can do where you just stand and learn from someone doing something. Maybe like chopping wood, which isn't exactly very difficult to learn to do, but I wonder if there's a lot of that stuff where you can like, oh, I want to I don't know, cut wood, things like that. I want to become a blacksmith. I wonder if that is a thing.
The knowledge you gather may provide clues to completing quests, open paths to acquiring new skills, or offer helpful guidance. That's all for today's look at the story and world of Crimson Desert. In the future, we'll be highlighting combat, progression, and life in Pywell, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm starting to feel it. I'll be honest. You know, it's I'm starting to see it as well, but it's like one of those things, you know, it's of course you gotta be on the fence when it comes to launches like this because it's so big, right? There's so many things to do, and I think the main concern is something that I think we're basically all on the same side, you know? I think people have been pretty unified about this game and like, yeah, okay, but like cohesion, is it there? Yeah, he used Eagle Vision like they do in Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I wonder if he's like looking for treasure like that. At any rate, I really hope it holds up because it does really look good. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, like this kind of sold me on the vision for the game, mostly. There's still that, you know, 10% uncertainty. Well, what do you guys think? I'm very curious. Are you guys like sold on this, or would you say that you're still or is it like absolutely already pre-ordered? I am very curious. The mechs do stick out like a sore thumb. I think so too, but there is a technological like region that messes a lot with tech, so it's like a steampunk thing apparently. So I guess it will make sense when you play it, but yeah, it does look weird when you're seeing all these you know, barbarians, and it's a medieval fantasy world with magic and swords and spears, and suddenly there's this steampunk aspect too. So yeah, we'll see, but yeah, I hope it meshes well. Quintus, I want to play it. Oh, me too. Just to figure out what it's all about, really, you know, because I think everybody's like, what will the end result be? Like we're using swords to duel, and suddenly we're riding inside a mech. They're going for it. They're going for everything. So what was better, Schwing or Schwank? I would say depends on the day. I really like the Schwing. You will have to check out my stream. Need to save cash for my big hike in October, of course. I mean, what is it? I think, yeah, it's 70 or 80 bucks for this game, I think. So they're definitely gonna have to, you know, sell a lot of people on it. I guess a lot of creators are gonna have to play the game, and, you know, hopefully if it turns out to be well, that's it. I'm curious for now. It's rare for me to pre-order something I see for the first time. Same here. I always just buy the game like first day if I'm interested. I usually have to be familiar with previous games or just trust the dev team. Yeah, that's a big one. That is definitely a big one. We'll have to see with this one because, of course, they've been running Black Desert Online for so many years now. And a lot of veterans for Black Desert Online are like super positive about it. I played it last year and I gave it a good, but there are some problems with it that I consider, well, maybe not problems, but I think there are some weaknesses, I would say, with Black Desert Online. But there are weaknesses with a lot of MMOs and a lot of games, so, I mean, no game is perfect. Yeah, I don't really have too much of a relationship with Pearl Abyss. I have no relationship with them at all, actually, so... because I haven't really invested too much time in Black Desert Online, so I don't really know, you know, how people really view them. The whole mixing of tech and medieval is not new. Lost Ark did the same thing. Oh, definitely not. It's just, you know, like where's the cohesion for it, I would say. So it's not so much that it doesn't fit, it's just, you know, how does it mesh with the world? Like, does it make sense when you see it and when you hear like the explanation for it? It's Omega pay to win. Yeah, the store is, especially in Black Desert Online, it's especially like, yeah, you know, I wish, and I understand that this would be a huge hit to their revenue, but I wish it was like in Guild Wars 2, right? Because that's something I reviewed the other week. I really like Guild Wars 2 simply because of the fact that you can grind for gold in the game and just convert that shit into gem store gems. Like, you can convert that into currency to buy shit from their in-game store. So it's like, you don't need to pay a dime, and they have no subscription fee. So like, they're definitely the most player-friendly, I would say, MMO I've seen yet, because of the fact that there's no subscription fee. You pay for the expansions, like, what is it, $25, but that's it. And everything that you've earned before, like legendaries and higher quality gear, that is still relevant today, like it was like 5 years ago. So there's no gear run or anything like that. So it's this forever MMO. It just keeps circling. Warframe does that? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I haven't played Warframe in so long. Will you ever consider playing Pathologic? Don't know what it is. I think I would like it just for the style. I wish it was Diesel Punk or Steampunk. We need more of those. Pathologic. Classic HD. Survival game? I've never heard of this one. I don't know, maybe I would. It looks pretty old. What was the name of the MMO you just mentioned? Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, baby. Look at this. Boom. So, actually, I've been playing a lot of this with my my buddy and my girlfriend. So yeah, we're kind of stuck in a loop playing this one. Look, it's my video. I love it. Thank you, Google, for putting up my video up there. I thought other people, other people's videos would be up on the, you know, when you search for Guild Wars 2, but mine pops up. Isn't that just respectable, guys? Look at that. If you look up Guild Wars 2, that's my thumbnail right there. Ah, so good, so cool. This is essentially just means that people that search for Guild Wars 2, they just look at that video, which is awesome. Gotta love that. I gotta love when I like pop up and search. Guild Wars 2 will keep that in mind. I would say yes, keep it in mind, because it's one of the few MMOs where I feel like I'm getting my money's worth all the time. It is a tad grindy with a lot of the gold, because you will be needing a lot of gold to convert that into gems. But you can buy everything. You can even buy the expansions themselves through just grinding gold in the game and converting that into gems. I shit you not. That is how player friendly they are. They let you grind for gold in the game, convert that into gems, and then buy the expansion through the in-game store. What the fuck? Like, nobody does that. Well, maybe Warframe, I don't know, but come on, man. You gotta respect that. Style of Crimson Desert, by the way, the game would look unique in a steampunk setting. Pathologic is a trilogy. There's a Pathologic 1, 2, and recently 3 launched. I see. Okay. I'll try to check that out whenever I get time to do it. Vulcan, holy shit, yeah, talk about being player-friendly. Yes, definitely the most player-friendly online game that I know of. Again, I have played Warframe previously, but that was many years ago. I think that was like... I think I last played Warframe in 2018, maybe. Something like that. Absolutely love it, though. I remember I had I don't know how many I had unlocked, but I had that dancing one, the music. I think that was the latest Warframe I unlocked before I stopped playing. Before I stopped, because I got busy with just everyday life and working. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, this is going to be a relatively short stream today. I just wanted to talk with you guys and go over Crimson Desert because I'm actually sort of excited for it. Yeah, Warframe has 35 to 40k players a day. Damn. Well, that's not terrible. That's respectable. That is a respectable number right there. I should probably start covering Warframe again. I've never covered it, but I should probably start covering it. Could do a couple of videos, like an "Is it worth it" video. Is Warframe worth playing in 2026? Because technically that is an MMO, right? Yeah, it is in a way. But yeah, maybe we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream and just hanging out for a while, and I'll see you on Monday. Yeah, take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Warframe is epic. They know what they are doing. I believe you. I know you. Well, I know. Yes. They do know what they're doing. As far as I know, back when I played it. Flex those biceps. I wasn't even trying, bruh. I wasn't even trying. Take care. Mr.